Something shifted the moment Lexie Hull started speaking, and suddenly the Indiana Fever situation got a lot more interesting. Her recent appearance on Sophie Cunningham's podcast gave fans a rare look inside the locker room feeling around Caitlin Clark's team. And the message from Lexie was loud and clear. She doesn't just enjoy being in Indiana, she wants to stay there and keep building something special with this group. That alone is big, but it hits even harder when you look at what the Fever are about to face this offseason. Because this is not going to be simple. Not even close. Kelsey Mitchell is the first major piece in question. She is expected to attract serious offers on the market, possibly even a max-level deal. The Fever will have to decide if they are ready to lock her in long-term or risk seeing how the market plays out. Then comes Lexie Hull herself. She's heading toward restricted free agency, which puts Indiana in a tricky but powerful position. Other teams can come in with big contracts, but the Fever still hold the final say. They can match any offer if they believe she is too important to lose. And just when things couldn't get more intense, Sophie Cunningham enters the picture too. She will be an unrestricted free agent, meaning the decision is fully in her hands. No restrictions. She can choose her next destination freely. So now everything comes down to one major goal for Indiana. Keep the core together. Caitlin Clark, Lexie Hull, and Sophie Cunningham. That is the trio fans are already connecting with. The chemistry, the energy, the potential, it all feels like something that can grow into a real foundation for the Fever. And after hearing Lexie's own words, it doesn't sound like she wants to walk away from that. It sounds like she wants to be part of it. But in the WNBA, wanting something and actually keeping it are two very different things. And what happens next could decide the future of Indiana's rise.
I guess teams and communities in the WNBA, there's a pretty wide spectrum on like how special some of them are. Everything she tells me about playing here is like incredible.
It is.
Great fan support. The community loves you guys. What's like your time in Indy been like?
It's grown so much.
Yeah.
Like my rookie year, we probably had a couple thousand people coming to games. We won 5 games that whole year.
Like, I think that's doing it justice too.
It might be. It might be.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's hard. I think like once you start winning and once more people start showing up, like your experience changes completely. So the last couple years have been a full 180. Like we've changed, people are showing up, people know about the Fever. Like if we were to be walking in the airport, like the story I just said, that would never happen today. So it's been awesome.
Do you almost cherish it more because you got to be here when things were clearly not as special?
I think so. I think like it gives you perspective on what it could be like.
Right.
And when you see it and you actually have fun doing it and you love coming to the gym every day and you love the staff that's there and you love your teammates, like it's important to be like very grateful. And I do feel grateful to be here.
And I think Lex and I are a lot alike because we are very much do the dirty work and like the energy players. And so when you do have a fan base like the Fever, it makes it so much easier because they appreciate.
They see it. They see you.
Yeah. And like you have Kelsey Mitchell, you have Aaliyah, you have Caitlin that of course they're going to go do their thing. But when you have players that are going to go take the charge, like you're just so tough and they're just like, people appreciate it. And when you have sold out crowds everywhere you go, it's just appreciated. And it feels good as players. You talked about in the intro that like you are inspiring the next generation where you come from, around the country with the eyes that you have on you. Like what is something that you cherish or like gives you chills when you think about, you're still early in your career, but like your career overall?
I think it's just really cool to be at games. And obviously like you have the Caitlins and the Aaliyahs and the Kelseys and you see their jerseys in the stands. Then when you see like a 10 out there, like it's so special because people like are watching and supporting. And growing up, I didn't have someone in the W that I saw myself as or like that I wanted to reach for. And I feel like now with the social media and just even like TV and the accessibility for people, like they see us and they can actually like have these dreams so much earlier. And to be one of those people is really special.
I think it's really cool to watch. All types of people will ask you for pictures or to say hi. But when you see a little girl come up to you and like you can just clearly see
yourself,
what they see in you and like how cool that is. That's been a fun part of like getting to be around you more is seeing like little girls look up to you guys. It's so dope.
It's cool also because it's not just little girls now. It's little boys too. Like it's insane.
Well, I think that's what's really cool and unique about the WNBA is that we are so diverse amongst our league that every kid, boy or girl, they can look at the TV and watch someone play and like find themselves in one of the players playing. It's funny because when we watch film together, sometimes we can't tell each other apart.
Oh.
If someone messes up, it's like, oh, that was Lexie. Yeah, oh, that was me. Yeah, you know, running, and so we can't even tell each other apart.
When you're just sprinting and our hair looks like it's hard.
Like, are those my shoes or are those Lexie shoes?
That was the same way in college. It was Lacey, wasn't it?
College basketball.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Let's slow this down for a second. Because this is where the real impact of Caitlin Clark shows up. Think about this. Before Caitlin Clark arrived in Indiana, the Indiana Fever were playing games in front of small crowds. We're talking about—
Hold up for a second, because this is exactly where you start to see the true power of Caitlin Clark in Indiana. Let's break it down. Before Caitlin Clark ever stepped foot in an Indiana Fever jersey, things looked completely different. Home games were quiet. Attendance was low. We're talking about a few thousand fans showing up on some nights, scattered around the arena with plenty of empty seats still visible. The atmosphere just didn't have that spark. And outside the arena, the national spotlight was barely there. The Fever were working in silence, trying to build something from the ground up without much attention. Players like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexie Hull were already part of that journey. They were showing up every night, putting in the effort, fighting through tough seasons, and trying to push the franchise forward. But despite all that hard work, the energy around the team just wasn't growing fast enough. The results were there in flashes, but the attention wasn't. Then everything changed the moment Caitlin Clark arrived. Suddenly, Indiana wasn't just another stop on the schedule anymore. Every arena they walked into started filling up fast. Home games turned into sellout crowds. Road games felt like home games for Indiana. We're talking about 0,000, 18,000, sometimes even more fans packing the stands just to see this team play. The noise, the lights, the cameras, everything shifted overnight. And this is what people call the Caitlin Clark effect. But it's not just about numbers in the stands. It's about pressure. It's about energy. It's about expectation. Players like Lexie Hull felt that change instantly. Hull has been through the tough days in Indiana. She knows what it was like when nobody was really watching. So when the spotlight suddenly turns bright, it's not something you can ignore. Every possession feels bigger. Every game gets talked about. Every move gets analyzed. And to be fair, Lexie Hull has earned her place in this story. She plays with effort every single night. She defends, she hustles, she stays disciplined, and she understands exactly what her role is. That kind of consistency matters, especially next to a superstar like Caitlin Clark. But there's also a real truth here. Playing alongside Caitlin Clark changes everything. Suddenly, players who were flying under the radar are now part of national conversations. Lexie Hull is one of them. Fans are noticing her. Her name is being mentioned more. You're seeing jerseys in the crowd. You're hearing analysts break down her impact on the floor. That's what happens when you're part of the most watched team in the league. And that's why when Hull talks about staying in Indiana, it makes perfect sense. Because right now, the Fever aren't just building a team, they're building something much bigger. They have momentum. They have attention. And more importantly, they have a young core that feels like it's only getting started. That core is led by Caitlin Clark, supported by Lexie Hull, and powered inside by Aaliyah Boston. A trio that already has fans excited about the future. And if Kelsey Mitchell returns and stays healthy, the picture becomes even more dangerous for the rest of the league. So the real question now isn't whether Indiana is getting attention. It's how far this version of the Fever can actually go. That's exactly why a lot of fans around the league are starting to say the same thing. Keeping Lexie Hull might not just be a good idea, it might actually be a priority for the Indiana Fever this offseason. Because when you really look at it, she fits the system. She fits the energy. And more importantly, she fits the way Caitlin Clark plays the game. Hull isn't trying to force things or take over the spotlight. She understands her role, she spaces the floor, she defends with effort, and she moves without the ball in a way that makes life easier for the players around her. That kind of chemistry is not something every team can just find again easily. And that's what makes this situation interesting. Because in today's league, talent matters, but chemistry matters just as much. Sometimes even more. And Indiana already has something building here. You can see it on the court. The communication is better. The rotations feel more connected. The trust between players is growing game by game. And Lexie Hull is a part of that foundation. She's not just another name on the roster. She's a player who has already been through the tough years with this franchise. She didn't join when everything was perfect. She stayed through the struggle, the rebuild, and the low attendance seasons. And now that the spotlight is here, she's still contributing in her own way. That's something organizations don't forget. On top of that, there's also the chemistry factor with Caitlin Clark. Clark is a player who thrives when her teammates understand spacing, timing, and movement. And Hull gives her exactly that. She runs the floor hard, she stays active on defense, and she doesn't hesitate to make the simple winning plays that don't always show up in highlight reels but absolutely matter in real games. And let's be honest here, players like that are valuable in championship-level teams. Because not every piece has to be a superstar. Some pieces just need to be consistent, reliable, and connected to the system. And Hull checks those boxes. That's why the conversation is starting to shift. If Indiana is serious about building something long-term around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, then keeping the right supporting cast becomes just as important as adding new talent. Stability matters. Chemistry matters. And continuity in a young team can be the difference between being good and becoming a real contender. And right now, Hull represents that stability. She already knows the system. She already understands her role. And from everything we've seen, she seems comfortable in this environment. She looks like a player who enjoys being part of this group, part of this growth, and part of this new era of Fever basketball. So when fans say, bring her back, it's not just emotion talking, it's logic too. Because if you already have a group that is building trust, building rhythm, and building identity together, the worst thing you can do is constantly break it apart and start over. So now the front office has a real decision to make. Do you test the market and try to bring in someone new, hoping they fit the system right away? Or do you double down on what's already working, keep the chemistry intact, and grow this core together? Should Indiana lock in Lexie Hull on a long-term deal and keep this young core together for the future? That's the question now sitting on the table. And honestly, it's a question that could shape the next era of Fever basketball. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates and breakdowns just like this one.